What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and today we are talking about the final book in the Trials of Apollo series, The Tower of Nero by Rick Riordan. I procrastinated so hard on starting this book. It has been such a long journey. I think Rick Riordan posted that it's been like 15 years, 15 books across this like Camp Half-Blood series that he has created, and it has finally come to an end here. He has also said that he's not planning on doing like more spin-offs, like big series forms. I still think he might do like some one-offs here and there. Like this book does set up some stuff that we could see, like maybe the Hunters again, maybe Will and Nico doing some stuff, like all that kind of things. But as far as like Percy Jackson's story and like the Camp Half-Blood like overarching 15 book series, it has all finally come to an end here, which I was really like sad about, but at the same time, like I was really excited to see how the story was going to shape up, because we've seen Apollo come so far. He has done so much growth, and I was very excited to see where that was going to take him in this final book. I want to try to split this review up into two parts, because I do really want to talk about things that happened at the ending, like getting into some more spoilery type stuff, but we're going to start off with non-spoilers. We pick up with Apollo and Meg. They have been traveling from Camp Jupiter. They're trying to get back to New York. They're going to face Nero. They have a lot of things that they need to do. Like they need to figure out a way to take out his power so they can take down Nero. And then of course, Apollo does have to face Python. And we find out that it's been about 6 months since his journey has started, and Apollo is really in like a completely different mindset, because at the beginning of this book we mirror what happened at the very beginning of the Hidden Oracle, and we go to Sally Jackson's apartment. Percy isn't here anymore. He's graduated. He's going off, to college with Annabeth and Grover and all those fun things. But we do get to revisit Sally, and she remarks that Apollo has changed so much. Like, he's not whining and complaining and all about himself anymore. Like, now he really wants to, like, save the people that he loves. He doesn't want any more hardship to happen to them. And I loved seeing that. I loved, like, this actual representation of, like, we've returned to where we've started, but we're completely different now. Like, Apollo has gone through such a transformation. And throughout this book, he remarks, like, he doesn't really know who he is anymore. Like, for the longest time, he just wanted to become the god Apollo again, but he's learned so many things about himself and about how he acted as a god, and he's been Lester for so long that he's not quite sure what's going to happen to him once this quest is over. Like, if he ascends to be a god, is he going to be the same god? Or if he dies, what would the world be without Apollo? We also get to return to Camp Half-Blood. We do get to see Will and Nico again. I really feel like Will and Nico are standing on their own as characters very well, and I do hope we get to see more of them. I think we could get a really cool spin-off with some of their adventures. I really love their relationship. There is so much like development that we get even here. Like, Nico is discovering more things about himself. We get to discover a lot more things about Will. I really enjoyed that. We also got to meet back up with Rachel, and for the first time I felt like Rachel like really stood on her own. She wasn't in this book a ton, but she does finally get to do a lot more than she has been doing in the past, and we haven't seen that since, I would say, the Battle of the Labyrinth. Like, we get to see her leading some people through the labyrinth and that, but in this, like, she actually feels like she's part of the quest, she's doing more stuff, and I really enjoyed that. I think she's a very interesting character, so I'm so glad that we got to revisit her in this final book. Overall, I am going to say I'm giving this book an A+. I really recommend it. I think it was an amazing wrap-up to the series. I feel like Rick Riordan put so much care into it, and like, this is the thing I want to speak to. Like, it was so refreshing and so nice, especially like where we're at right now with stuff that we've been getting in the past, to see that this creator really cares about his readers. He really cares about this world that he created, and he wanted to make sure that we got an ending that not only made sense for the characters and for the world, but that also would resonate with us. And I've just really loved seeing like what he's been saying about it online, what he said about writing middle grade, and how, this group of kids like really does need these types of books. Like, there should be more of these books out there, which is why we've been getting Riordan Presents, which I'm starting to read a little bit of as well. But when it came to the wrap up with Apollo, I just think he did an amazing job. I will say it's a little bit more violent than I was expecting it to be, and it was very sad. Like, I really did feel that, but when it came to the ending, it just felt so powerful and meaningful, and I just love the way he did it. So I do want to talk about spoilers here, and that is that we just, man, Apollo has come so far, and throughout this book, Like, I even said this before when I was doing my reread. Like, I felt like Apollo could die, or if he became a god again, he was going to be something different. Like, he truly has changed over the course of this series. And many times in this book, it is remarked upon that he would rather, you know, take down the emperors, take out Python so that the humans could live in peace again, than become a god again. He's like, you know, the world would be better if they could still continue to live in a world with hope and with a brighter future than with the sun god, because there are so many other, you know, deities and pantheons controlling the sun. Like, who needs Apollo? There's even a scene in this book where the other Olympian gods are remarking that, well, there could just be 11 gods. Like, who cares? Like, who needs Apollo? Like, it was just very interesting to see this highlighted on. And I think also, you know, back at the beginning of this book, Apollo remarks that he has so many things tied to him. Like, he's the god of the sun, music, archery, poetry, healing, like all this stuff, like so many things. And he says that it does feel very chaotic and it does feel very mixed up. But then by the end of this book, I feel like he really came into his own. Like, he felt like the sun. He felt like the sun god. He felt like the god of music. He felt like the god of healing, the god of poetry, the god of archery. Like, it felt like he truly owned that. Like, he truly became the god Apollo that he always was meant to be. I also really loved Meg in this book, seeing her go up against Nero, who was a very manipulative and abusive stepfather, seeing her finally realize, like, that she is stronger than him, and to take her life back, and not only take her life back, but then also help, like, her other, like, stepbrothers and sisters get past, like, his manipulation, was very rewarding, and it was very satisfying to see. I also loved Lou, who was introduced in this book. She was amazing, and she gets, like, wielding knife hands, which was just really, really fun. But then, of course, things do get heavy again, because once we defeated Nero, then Apollo had to go down and defeat Python. And I really liked that, yeah, the fight was very, like, dramatic, and it was very intense and action-packed, and it was actually pretty violent. But more than anything, it was more about, like, what was going on in Apollo's mind, because he had to face Python alone. But it was really about Apollo, just what he wanted now. It was so different from where we saw him in the first book. Like, I'm so glad I reread the whole series, because you really see this full arc that he's gone on, and how he is willing to fall in order for, you know, humanity to rise. And as we find out, it was prophesied for Apollo to fall so that Apollo could rise again. And he falls all the way down to, like, the pits of chaos. He even sees Nyx, who we know cursed him because of all of his broken promises, and he finally learns the lesson of it's not about what kind of promises you make, what kind of words you say, it's what matters is the intent. Like, if you don't intend to keep your promise, of course horrible things are going to happen. He's learned so many things, so when he rises back up and becomes a god again, he truly is different. And he's different from the other gods. There's a scene at the end where he meets with Zeus and Artemis and everybody, and it truly feels like Apollo knows something that they don't. Like, he is so much more human at the end of this than the other gods. He truly cares about everybody, and it was just very, very beautiful to see. And actually, I wanted to read this, which is why I said that there's, you know, spoiler warning for this, but Rick Riordan sends off the book, sends off the series with, however, anytime you take aim and prepare to fire your best shot, anytime you seek to put your emotions into song or a poem, know that I am smiling on you. We are friends now. Call on me. I will be there for you. Like, Apollo goes from a god who doesn't care about mortals, just the same way we've always viewed these gods, to somebody who will be there if you need him, to somebody who truly has made so many amazing friends amongst the demigods and the reader as well. And it just made me feel very hopeful. And I know that that's going to mean a lot to kids who are reading this, like, back, you know, in middle school, back when we first all read Percy Jackson. I know how meaningful it would have been to hear those words. And finally, we get a huge send-off to the Percy Jackson series as a whole. We go back and we meet up with all of the characters that we've met before. We get to meet back up and see Percy and Annabeth attending college in New Rome. We go back and see that Nico and Will have some unfinished business in the underworld that we get a little bit of allusions to. We get to see Leo and Calypso just, you know, trying their best, trying to make things work. We see Piper, who is an amazing bisexual queen. I love that so much. We get to see how happy happy Raina is with her new life. We get to see Frank and Hazel just making it work down at Camp Jupiter, and it was so beautiful and it felt so rewarding. I was wondering if that was going to be at the end of this book. I was wondering if it was going to feel cheesy, but Apollo just cared so much. Like, he cared about these people so much that he wanted to see them all. He wanted to tell them that he was okay, that he remembers his promises, that things are going to be better now. And he even, says a little something to Dionysus about how, like, you may still be serving your sentence, but I think we're the ones who got the better end of the deal. Like, Zeus meant to punish us, but it doesn't really feel like a punishment anymore. And it was just so beautiful. So that's the end of Trials of Apollo. That is the end of our amazing 15-book Percy Jackson series. I can't believe that it has come to an end. I am still waiting for my satyr, so this has been a huge part of my life. And overall, I just feel very hopeful about where things are going. Like I said before, I feel like Rick Riordan just really cares about his readers. He really cares about the type of content that he's putting out there. I feel very hopeful with Riordan Presents. I feel very hopeful with Mytho Magic. I am just really excited to see what he's going to be doing next, and I'm really sad that it's over, but it ended so beautifully and in my mind just so perfectly. So I loved the series. Like I said, I'm giving it an A+, and I am just really excited to see what's gonna come next. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe to Talk Books with me every week. That is everything I got for today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.